Hi, my name is Tony Slate, and I teach American Sign Language at Fort Bend Christian Academy. And I'm very excited to share with you about the SignAll Lab. I want to talk to you about the benefits and how my students have benefited from using the SignAll Lab. And also I want you to hear from some of my students about their experiences. I want them to share with you some real life experiences, especially from some of my students that have maybe struggled from the beginning and then using the SignAll Lab to help them increase their skills and their confidence. I want you to hear from them about how much it's benefited them. So, how did I find out about SignAll? Well, that's a great question. I received an email from a guy named Max who actually works at SignAll. Had no idea who this guy was. Got the email that just said, hey, this is what we are, and would you be interested in this program or the software? I don't remember the wording exactly, but I thought, I don't know what this is. So I dismissed it. No, I take that back. Actually, I had a parent reached out to me that knew about it. And they said, hey, my friend works at this place that's hosting this thing, which is the SignAll software, and you should look into it. So I dismissed that because I was like, I don't know what this is. They don't know what they're talking about. So a few weeks later, I don't know what prodded me to go back to that email, but I went back to that email that Max sent and I inquired about it. Long story short, me and my colleague, who also teaches ASL with me, we both went to the building nearby that was housing this, and that was kind of a hub for SignAll, the lab. And so we tried it out and we fell in love with it. I just thought this is the coolest thing ever. And then I submitted a proposal to my principal. I was like, we got to get this in here. So we got it in. I'm so excited that we have it. And so for anybody out there that gets an email or sees the ad, or I know a lot of organizations have sent out the ad, or SignAll has sent out the ad. And if you're not sure about what it is, like, this is what it is. It's SignAll, the lab. And so I encourage you to check it out, and I encourage you to try to get a demo and see if this is for you. I definitely think it's good for the students, it's good for the teachers, and it's affordable. So one thing that I want to share with you all is how SignAll has changed my teaching experience. So most of you probably use Signing Naturally or True Way ASL or Master ASL as your main curriculums in your classroom. And also, I tend to put a hodgepodge together, maybe follow a lot of Signing Naturally mixed in with Master ASL, or some other lessons that either I come up with or that I have tweaked over the years. So having the Signall Lab has been a great supplementation for my students. A lot of times I will go through a lesson and the students will they will practice with each other, and a lot of times I bring them up. Well, actually, I do that very regularly. They come up in front of the class and they will present the dialogue or the signs that were recently taught. One thing that I've found over the years is that my students can get very nervous, especially in level 1. I know that you probably experienced this, but in level 1 ASL, the students they're learning the basics. So since the implementation of Signall, I have seen students gain confidence and gain a better understanding of how a sign is made. So, when I'm talking to them about, okay, your signs have to be exact. Like if you change, when we're talking about the 5 parameters of ASL, if you change the hand shape, it's going to change the meaning. So with Signall, it helps them to make sure that sign is exactly right, or it's not going to recognize it. And there's some pros and cons to that. Like a native signer coming in and using Signall, it's probably not going to pick up some of what they're signing. But when you're teaching the basics, I think this is really helping them keep their hands at a reasonable in the signing space, and also keeping their attention on the screen and paying attention to what they're doing.
Okay, so last year I was in my first year of ASL 1, and I was struggling a bit with finger spelling and memorizing my signs properly. But Signall was there to help. Signall is great because so when you are finger spelling, for example, or signing, it demands accuracy. It only registers signs that follow the 5 main parameters of ASL, and you have to be very specific, very accurate, and that's good because that will then translate over to when you're signing with real deaf people, that they're going to be able to understand you, and you're going to be able to have conversations more clearly.
So as a teacher, well, and from the student's perspective, I think it builds confidence that they're signing and they get that star that lights up and they're like, yes, I did it. And then when they get up in front of the class, they have that confidence. They feel good about what they're doing. And it gives them more exposure because they have one more person to sign with on the Signall, the model on the lab. Now, as a teacher, like I said, it's another supplementation. So the students can use that. Like I can get, when we're done with a lesson and we have 5-10 minutes left of class, then I can have 1 or 2 students go and do a mini lesson on the lab. The finger spelling practice is really good about helping them keep their hand at a comfortable level because it shows up on the lab, on the screen, I mean. Also, as a teacher, it's good to have that supplement, to have this lab where they can go in and see that this is the real deal, that they are learning a real language.
So how do you find using the Signall system to be beneficial to you or other students? How is it helpful?
It makes the sign, it helps it remember more easily, and it just kind of sticks in your brain more just because of how you're learning it. And it's a lot different than any other way that I've learned before.
What about the finger spelling exercises?
The Spaceman game is a lot of fun. Everything was good except the only sign that I had trouble with using was G. other than that, it worked really well, and it helped me remember or reuse my vocab or my finger spelling skills.
Now, I recently had a comment or a question from another teacher that doesn't know ASL, and they said, "Hey, um, so is this Signall going to replace you? Are we going to have Signalls for as teachers now, the Signall Lab?" And I was like, "Absolutely not. I personally do not think that that could even come close to doing that. It's definitely a supplement to the teacher to help the teacher do a better job or have more resources for the students. And right now, during COVID, that's another reason to use it, because we can't get out there and go to a deaf social or mingle with people. But they do have one simulated person, the model, that's signing that they can interact with. And that's pretty cool. But no, I do not think that this could be something that's going to replace a teacher.
Did you see an increase in your grades? Did your grades come up after you started practicing with Signall?
Believe it or not, they actually did. Since I began to use Signall, like I said, I began to become more confident with my signs. I began to have more accuracy and a little bit more speed, understanding what I was learning in class. And then I would come on Signall and I would be able to reinforce those skills and become even stronger in what we learned in class. And so I saw an increase in my grades because I was able to practice, and Signall made the practicing more interesting than just going home, going over and just reading over your list of signs.
And what about, do you feel like it increased your confidence signing in the classroom?
I definitely feel like it did, especially because, like I said, since Signall kind of demands that you are very accurate and very specific about your hand placement, your hand shape. When I was getting to class and I was, being put on the spot to sign, I felt like I was a little bit more ready to actually show what I had learned.
One thing I would like to add is how easy it was to get set up and how the installation process went. The contract was simple, so it was just a couple of pages of some information just about just some legal aspects. Real easy. Got that signed. Had my principal sign it. My head of school signed it, and then they brought Max over. And there's several people that will do the installation for you, but let me tell you, it took a couple, 3 days, and Max was in my room. He, got this set up very, I was hands off because I didn't know what was going on or how to do it. So he set that up, and it was easy, and it was a great. I learned a lot as he was setting it up so that I could see how this works and all the parts that go to it. So it was a lot of fun just watching the process. But installation was a piece of cake, and you just need some a table, just regular sized table, and just I forget how many feet in the room. Maybe 6 by 6 or 8 by 8, just a little area where you can keep that and it's in a safe and secure spot. Now, support. Let's talk about support. The Signall team is amazing. If I have questions, if I forget my login, if I want to bounce off some ideas with them. They have responded to my emails, calls, texts. Any way that I reach out to them, they have responded back very quickly. I mean, I just love working with them. Number one, I am not paid for any of this. This is my own feedback. Are there some glitches? Yes. There are some things that need to be tweaked, which is good. I can communicate back to the company and let them know, hey, the SignAll system is not recognizing the sign for pink very well, and they can get on that and get that fixed. So the communication with the team is amazing. I just, that's another thing that has kept me kind of loyal to them. I know it's not been very long, but I'm still loyal to them because they are loyal to me and they are helping me out to make sure my program is going well. And they don't want this to be a hindrance at all, but it's something to enhance my program, and I feel like it is. And I'm happy to host anybody at my school or do a demonstration to show you how this works. Thank you so much for your time today, and I really hope that more people can get this program in their rooms, and let's start having more signing and some more feedback to do a better job. It's like, I want people to know that SignAll is the coolest thing ever. Thanks so much.